But if I were to get the chance to direct a feature film length, that would be the movie.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone, to episode 2 with a very special guest,
Jack, aka Street Dude.
Yes.
The Street Dude.
My hero.
Yes.
My hero is in the building.
Happy to be here.
Jack, how you doing, man? How you feeling?
I'm doing well. I'm happy to be here. Excited.
It's our first official guest. It's pretty crazy, man, right?
Yeah, I mean, you've been part of all of our movies, so it's not necessarily like you're an outsider, so you're very familiar with what we do. I mean, you are what we do, for all I know. So, yeah, man, just nice to have
thank you for the praise,
be part of our latest chapter.
As of now, you definitely are the figurehead of what we got. I mean, Street Dude easily has the most screen time. Would you agree?
Well, I don't know, maybe, but I think some of our other projects have maybe some more popularity.
It's true.
The Lost series.
Lost.
Horror movies.
Well, Street Dude is kind of where it all started.
Yeah. Yes. So, let's talk more about that. So, on our last episode, we talked about, D&D, why you were Street Dude, why we chose you to film, right? Mm-hmm. So, when you were filming that first day, what was going through your head, man?
Well, the first day, I hadn't had very much acting experience by that time. And so I didn't really know what I was doing, and we also didn't have a script.
No scripts till Street Dude 3.
No.
Until Street Dude 3. Maybe Street Dude 2 had some...
It wasn't official.
Maybe some bullet points or
bullet
something.
Points.
Yeah, we were getting there, but Street Dude won.
So, I was just kind of riffing and just going along with what you guys were doing, really.
Yep.
Acting is reacting.
Yeah, I love it. That's a good philosophy. You sound like you went to film school. Is that true?
I did go to film school. I just graduated from SUNY Oswego. Thank you.
Nice.
Round of applause.
My degree is actually not in film, though. My degree is communications, media, and the arts. Thank God, because now I can get real jobs with that. Not saying that film's not a real job, but
It's harder.
Let's be real.
It's harder to break through.
It's less of a real job than working for the state or whatever.
But I think it's important too when you consider where we are now versus where we were on that first day of Street Dude.
I mean,
you weren't even a film major, communications major, what have you.
So by
at that
point, my only film experience was from high school. I took one video class. I took a black and white photography class as well. But yeah, I had no idea what I was doing, and I still kind of don't really. But
fair enough.
Yeah, but none of us really had any experience, so we kind of figured it out together. It felt like. I
mean, I had taken a couple filming classes at college at that point, so that was the most experience that we'd had at that point.
I would say just doing it is the most important part. I feel like a lot of people, especially nowadays, get way too wrapped up on the right camera, the right gear, right lighting, everything. It's like analysis paralysis, right? You're too afraid to really you're too afraid to do it, and they're too afraid of it being cringy. And let's be honest here, Street Dude 1 doesn't hold up too well.
We don't have any.
But that's okay. It's a stepping stone, and I'm still very proud of it because I think for our first real legit project we took seriously, I think it turned out very well.
Let's not forget what we did going into that first day of filming. You and I did a whole construction of that wrench, the grand mighty wrench.
We
spent. That was the same wrench the whole time.
It was the same. It had some repairs.
But it actually broke on the first day.
Let's talk about that.
That's what I was going to mention. See, the night before, Nate and I were in your dad's basement. Yep. We stenciled it out. We spray painted it black and everything to get it ready for this big shoot. And on the first day, Jack, what happened?
So if I'm remembering correctly, there was a scene. It was the first fight scene against the Destruction Crew.
Legendary.
And I was supposed to hit you, Carson, on the head with it. I believe it was you.
I think we filmed the scenes out of order. So that scene we had to shoot in slow-mo because the scene where you were grappling with Thug over here.
Yep. How did it break? So I think I hit one of you.
The table. It was the table.
You jumped over the table. You must have smacked it.
Yeah.
You gotta remember though, it was very hollow and we spray painted it, so it made it very fragile.
Yeah.
So any little touch broke it, which is
made of styrofoam.
And so when it broke, we had to literally get some medical tape out of your trunk to patch it, to lasso it together so that it wouldn't break again.
White tape. So if you look back in that Street Dude movie, there are scenes. It'll be so the ring at the bottom of the wrench is completely black, and then it'll cut, and there's white tape around it, and then it'll cut again, and it's back to solid black. And it's because we filmed it all out of order.
Well, that honestly was one of our first, it didn't really follow continuity. It was a continuity error.
Not
I don't
at
know why
all,
it took me so long to find those words, but, if you watch our films, you know that's something that's in a lot of them, but that might have been our very first one, to be honest.
I think that was,
It's crazy because we took note instantly of the vast amount of continuity errors that were in that first movie, but that was one that we never really made mention of until Jack just did. So yeah, this is why we got you on the show, to give us new light to things that we think we already know.
The continuity errors have become such a regular thing in our movies. It's honestly like an Easter egg to us at this point. We love finding them.
We've done some on purpose, I feel like.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Some different things like that.
Well, I think because we were just forced to because of the circumstance or whatever. Like,
You're just like, whatever.
I know. One time we filmed something, Carson would be like, "Oh, that doesn't match next scene." Like, it's fine. Just we gotta move on.
Yeah.
You know?
Again, since I had actually taken a filming class, like I was the only one coming into Street Dude 1 that knew the concept of matched action, which for those of you that don't know is when one shot transitions to a next shot. Like, we're going to do it right now. Watch. I'm talking and Jack's listening. You'll see that because we now understand that as a collective.
Yes, exactly. So, Street Dude 1, done, right? Now I come to you. We got to do it again. What are you thinking, Jack?
At this point, I was like, okay, we need to do something that's gonna come out a little better. I think not that that first Street Dude was bad, but it certainly wasn't. It was definitely a YouTube movie, you know. And so I was like, yeah, as long as we have a little more maybe structure with it. So we didn't have a script, but we did have a better idea of what the story was gonna be.
Definitely a better story for Street Dude 2. Yeah.
Yes, and it follows the same story as the original Street Dude stop motion film, right?
Yeah, it has Evil Mind. We brought him back because we, at this point, so we just made Street Dude 1, which had pretty much no reference to the OG or the stop motion. So we're like, let's bring some stuff back, and it actually has a lot. We actually didn't even discuss everything we brought back in our first episode.
Street Dude 1 did have one key return or two key returns because the two big vocal commands, if you will, from the original stop motion were "What's going on over there?" and "Surprise."
Yes, and of course Tom came back, which we love. I think Carson, you filmed that with the day of.
Yeah, the same day, the same day that me and Brandon filmed that cinematic Arnold Palmer commercial. So we already know how that was a great
addition.
Yeah.
So for Street Dude 2, if you didn't catch it all, we have a couple more things we add from the original stop motion. We have the wrench throw, which was all stop motion. Mm-hmm. That's supposed to mimic the marker, right? And then Evil Mime, of course, box, the finale.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my favorite is when Tom Street Dude in the original is fighting Big Bad Buff. He's screaming, "Boom, pow, push!"
Yeah.
Remember in Street Dude 2? This is my favorite line of all time. You're like, we're gonna hit these guys so hard, words are gonna manifest out of thin air.
It's materialize.
Words are gonna materialize out of thin air.
But how long did that take us to?
That took us a bit.
What a tongue twister, man.
I didn't even edit that in my list of bloopers that I have stashed away on our squad hard drive archives.
So we definitely brought a lot back. Yeah, so in my opinion, that makes Street Dude 2 feel like very special and different to me because it feels most like the original out of the three of them. The third one we went way above, right? Like way far and above.
Yeah.
But the second one, I think so that's the reason why it holds a special place in my heart. What about you, Jack?
Street Dude 2, I don't love it as much as the other two Street Dudes, I will say, but the fact that it follows your guys' original stop motion story, I think is really cool, and it almost seems like a cinematic remake of some kind, That was and we filmed that mostly in 1 or 2 days, didn't we? That was a pretty quick shoot.
The action scenes, yes. There were a few scenes like the Spaceball scene that we had to redo a couple times.
Yeah, that took a lot.
Literally, the camera just Just picture it. There's a TV behind you, and there is a camera with a tripod right here, right behind where Nate and I are sitting, filming these two guys reacting to the fourth wall break.
I love that we created
Space Dudes.
We recreated Spaceballs.
Space Dude, Spaceballs, same idea.
I love that so much, and that was your idea too. You showed me Spaceballs. Like we have to do that for Street Dude.
That was one of my favorite things that I think we ever filmed. I think that was its own film session.
It was.
It took forever.
It was the last thing we filmed for it.
Yeah, I have so many good bloopers of that. Do you
but
guys?
If we did it now, I think we could do it really quick.
Do you guys think that you could memorize the lines right now?
Yeah, I think so because we've done so much more line memorization since those movies that I think we have it down better now.
Should we give it a shot?
He's talking about saying it right now. The scene. Could you do that right now?
Could I remember right now? Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. Don't worry. We're not gonna attempt. Just go watch Street Dude 2 if you want to see us do it right.
Okay, Jack. Now,
success.
Street Dude 1, great movie, right? Street Dude 2 had a little rough landing. You know, as I'm sure you guys don't know, sadly premiere night 2 was actually split in half because we did not finish Street Dude 2 the night of. It was very unfortunate. We still had Found though, and we still had everything else, so it was still a great time. And then we moved Street Dude 2 to next week. We finished that though. Yeah. So now, Jack, I'm like, we gotta finish your trilogy. Now, what are you thinking?
I was so on board just because, having 2, you kind of need a third at that point.
Exactly.
Just to make it a full trilogy was so cool. And then, I had been going to film school, and so had Luke.
Right. Yep.
And we had been doing all these other projects, so we really knew what we were kind of doing at this point. And you wrote a script for Street Dude 3.
Well, I'm glad you bring that up. So these two know especially. Every time we do premiere night, I'm always like, we gotta do it again, bigger and better. And I guess that's just who I am, because that first premiere night, I've been chasing the high ever since. Just seeing that moment where you're holding that wrench in the air and he's singing, it was so beautiful.
No, I remember it was so picture perfect.
It
like
was.
The entire viewing party of 10 just erupted in applause.
Yep.
It felt like there were 10,000 people in that one small room. That's just how epic that moment was to encapsulate.
I've been wanting to recreate this, and of course we're like, we gotta make Street Dude 2. But like I said, it was split in half, so it wasn't as good as the first one.
Yeah.
Premiere night 3, Street Dude 3. I didn't write a script yet. I had the same thing, bullet points. But this movie, like I said, you've all seen it, I hope. You saw how crazy ambitious it was. Bullet points were not going to cut it, okay? And we learned that very soon. As you know, that summer, it was not good at all. Like,
so we had talked about it, and I had been doing a lot of script writing at school. I'm like, look, man, it always comes out better when you have a script. And it's not just for the dialogue. It really is mostly for the action. And as an actor, knowing like what you have to do and how you have to move, it's nice to have dialogue, but like anybody can kind of just make up dialogue. But knowing like action, that's a little harder to just come up with on the spot.
And editing, so Carson edited the first 2 Street Dudes. I edited the third one. If I didn't have that script, I would have no idea like where to like even go. Even though I wrote the bullet points, most assuming. So like. That script was an absolute game changer. So premiere night 3 was only lost, sadly. We had other movies in the work, like Doug's Donuts and something else.
Brandon and I had filmed like a decent chunk of that, but not nearly enough to like tie it together. I didn't even know how I wanted it to end. I had concepts and ideas that involved more or less these two, but ironically, us two and Tom managed to get the entire thing done together.
I think it worked out.
Yeah. We'll definitely, like I said, I definitely, when we continue the Squadcast, want to do like specific episodes recapping specific films, but we're gonna stick on the Street Dude saga here. So let's kind of continue with that moving forward to Street Dude 3.
So we had a script, and so that summer was just Lost. We called it Lost Night, and Lost was still good. We still liked it a lot.
We played Manhunt too.
Yes, it's still good, but I didn't like Street Dude only ending with Street Dude 2, I didn't like that, and I really wanted Street Dude 3. I think we had a good idea. So, I took Jack's advice, the film major, he knows what he's doing. And, I buckled down and wrote a script. It ended up being 50 pages long, and Jack was like, it's probably around 50 minutes. Like, are you sure you want to do this? And I said, without a doubt, absolutely. And he was right. It was, 48 minutes?
48.
So, he was spot on.
Yeah.
And, we had this script. And this was our longest shoot, right? I'm sure you can tell us.
So from start to finish, it was at least must have been at least like 3 or 4 months.
It was
spread out over
3
time.
3 months.
Yeah.
Spread out like a couple days a week.
We started in May. We had a great head start, which I think helps. We got a lot done in May, slowed down in June, finished strong in July.
Yeah.
So it took all 3 months.
3 months. Yeah. And a ton of film sessions.
Yes, a lot.
Like I mentioned in the last episode, we had a couple of scenes. It was a part of that opening scene, right, where we're in the office with OJM and Street Dude, when the cops, the other OJMs are out to get him, Officer Joe Mama 2 and 3. I don't think we had
idea. That was great.
done that particular idea. The numbers were my idea, but the multiverse Officer Joe Mamascalo, rather.
Mamascalo, no.
That was Nate's idea. So we kind of fused those together once we did our reshoot. But that was one of the scenes where we initially tried to get on the ground in summer of 2023 before realizing that we'd need a whole extra year to piece this thing and flesh it out and really refine it into a start to finish plot line.
There's a lot of ideas that didn't even make it into the final script.
Oh yeah.
So
But
there was a lot of fat to be trimmed off that movie.
Yes, but all the crazy ones I really wanted did, like the Goon Platoon, like that was almost on the chopping block. Cause that would be so hard to film, with Jack, with the Foiler members, me, Carson Brand. It's just a lot of people at one time, and sadly, if you actually watch it, Jack, Street Dude, their fearless leader, does not share any frames with the Goon Platoon because he was unable to film. We just. It's like what we did with Lost. We just had to do it, And I still think it turned out extremely well. It's honestly one of our funniest things we filmed, which definitely. I'm glad we got that done. The time travel stuff, that was almost on the chopping block, but we got it done. I love that scene. The multiverse scene, I love it. Just, even just talking about it now, it's like it's ridiculous that we still got us all done. It's insane.
It seriously is. I remember, Nate, you prompted us to select our favorite frames, like take a screenshot of our favorite frame and send it in for a little special Eternal Squad post for our private Instagram. And my favorite frame was Rug Time Machine. It's just this dude and Space Dude, one of these dudes, up against that building with a time machine behind them. And you can clearly tell it's Photoshop letters, not actually on the machine itself, but it just says Rug Time Machine. Ding! What? No, we can't. They're guarding it.
I think really that movie just brought so many different elements to the table that they are elements that definitely were present in some aspect in a lot of our other films, especially the first two Street Dudes. But I think even just like the villain reveal and everything like that, like that was something that we hadn't really done in the same manner before, especially a twist like that. Like we've done twists before, but
I love that.
Not in that
I
manner.
love how it ties everything together to the first movie. It really makes it like a really complete story in my opinion. I really think the story itself is genuinely very good. I think the idea of a clone, and I'm sure you guys don't know, Jack has a twin. So the whole clone idea was perfect. We're going to have it to be his twin, but he never filmed, which is fine. So it just ended up being me and him.
Yeah, my brother hates to do film projects with me. It's just not his thing at all. And sometimes I make him act in films. And, we'll be doing it for, 2 hours. He's like, am I done yet, man?
At least he was willing to play D&D with us that one time.
Yes.
Shout out Alex, the OG Accelerac.
Yes.
Shout out.
That was a good
but again,
session.
the story, it was a good session. But talking more about the story, Nate, even though there were some corny lines, obviously, the overall impact of it was still very, very good.
And I'll never forget this. You were telling your lifeguard friends, which we'll talk about soon, actually. I want to talk about lifeguard. Because your lifeguard coworkers were like, oh, so what's the movie about? And you're telling them the actual plot, and they're like, oh, this is like a real movie, isn't it? And that I know they said that kind of joking, but that made me feel really good because it really is, because it has a character arc. Jack, Street Dude, he goes through this whole he loses his powers, so he doesn't fear anything, and now he has to actually face that reality, faces fear head on. I think it's just a good message. Space Dude, the reason he loses because he's scared of Rug, we learn that in the end. I think it just ties everything together so well.
Absolutely.
It's a great character arc for your character.
Yes, definitely. And a lot of those lifeguards did see the movie and they were they were blown away,
Mm-hmm.
because they had seen some of our other stuff and like I thought it was funny and whatever.
Yeah.
But when they saw Street Dude 3, I mean, they were really blown away at the quality of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like the length of it and how the story all goes. I mean, we really did a good job.
Yeah.
As you mentioned earlier, Nate, I used to edit the movies from Street Dude 1 to Street Dude 2. That whole series with a few commercials in the later premiere nights, those have been edited by me. And because I've had the luxury of being the editor-in-chief of those movies, I've gotten to see them from start to completion. Not the case for Street Dude 3. There were several scenes that I didn't see. And if there is one scene that blew me away, just the sheer impact of it, again, touching on that point I made earlier, when Jack sees the building that he just shot up burning down, and the look on his face, you could sense some sorrow, you can sense a little bit of fear and almost emptiness. And I just wanted you to take me back to that scene and what you were experiencing going into that, and just like what directions Nate was giving you and almost what you were internalizing, because again, you're not actually seeing a burning building in front of your eyes.
No. I think we did have like some orange lights.
We had a light
up.
bar, right?
Yeah, the lighting was good
that,
too.
So we had some like orange lights, but no, I was just looking up at the house, and I think by that point my acting had I have actually gotten a little bit better.
I 100% agree, man. Your acting.
That was such a good.
And I think a lot of that's
that
just
scene.
doing it at school. I would act in all sorts of just film projects, just like stupid stuff, nothing like major or anything, but just do it, just repeat, like keep repetitively practicing acting. It really does make you better. And I think in that scene, I think Nate said something along the lines of, like, you're a superhero and you're messing it all up right now. Like, you're screwing up big time, and it's like you're tarnishing your reputation. People are not going to see you the same. The public that Street Dude protects.
All the Lukes on the street
so,
watching.
like, I just kind of thought about what Street Dude might feel like if that was happening. He had been this guy that would save everybody for all these years, and now everybody's turning against him. And so that was like one of the, I guess, breaking points for Street Dude, or at least the beginning of it before the news report scene.
Yep. Yeah. I love that scene. That turned out so well too. Brandon was filming that. We had a projector out. I filmed the new scene with Carson.
Yeah, we did that
beforehand.
completely separate. I wasn't sure how it was going to be used. I was just told to sound devastated, because as you have seen at various points throughout our lore, my characters, my spin-off characters, Officer Joe Mamascalo, J.C. Fisher, the news reporter, once Street Dude gets on their good side, they stand Street Dude. And this is like losing their hero too. And so that's kind of what I had to bring to the forefront there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, acting across.
Wow.
Rug is not Rug. Brandon, you especially.
We refer to you as Rogue sometimes casually. That's how much you've really grown into that character.
Acting across the board of all of us, like I said, Brandon, you especially, like, immaculate, and I'm really proud of all
Appreciate
of
the
that.
flowers. Well, I kind of relate a lot to what you say. Is like I try to feel like I try to put myself like, what would they do if they were in this situation?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's easier than other. Like a scene like that, it's probably a lot harder because you have to really not like necessarily fake an emotion, but like you have to really overplay like
a little bit, yeah.
Because you're we mentioned earlier, you're not really watching a burning building, and you're not obviously, I don't know the best example of Rug, but even at the end, like the big villain reveal and like trying to like take over the world, it's like those emotions aren't necessarily easy to act.
Yeah.
I think there are a couple good examples of Rug and Doug's Donuts that we could think of. Because honestly, Nate and I were talking about this too. Doug's Donuts almost served as a bit of a hint. We threw in some subtle hints about that villain reveal. I think that was one of the best aspects of it and how we were executing it.
Yeah. No, I did like that.
Had some hints in there, yep.
Just a few. And because Rug is such
count 'em all.
an unpredictable character, right? Like
You had no idea.
Yeah. You thought they were just another Rug being Rug.
Yeah, Rug really is a great character.
That was what he was doing all along, just not the way we expected it.
Yes.
All right, Jack. Enough about Street Dude. Tell us about like how we met.
Yeah, we met lifeguarding at the pool. You had already been there.
Yes, I
couple
was
of
there.
years.
I
At
was
the
there
pool.
I was there for 2 years. Yep.
And then, yeah, when I came on the staff, I was the youngest person there. You kind of took me under your wing.
Yes, you
Oh
were.
my God.
Fresh meat.
Remember, Jack.
Yes, yeah.
Because Incredibles 2 just came out. His
Yeah.
name is Jack Schakowsky, which kind of sounds like Jack Jack.
Yeah, you could swing that.
It has Jack in the name.
Jack
So,
Jack
yes,
attack.
we call him Jack
Yeah,
Jack.
exactly.
You know, he was the youngin'. We kind of made fun of him a little bit,
Mm.
but, you know, I took him in and...
What, did you give him swirlies?
Yeah, I was always getting picked on for being the youngest on staff. But yeah, you were definitely my boy from day one.
Yes, absolutely.
That's where he got the black eye in Street Dude 2 from.
From the bowling.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah,
His
well,
lifeguard
it wasn't me like hitting him with my ninja star or anything as evil mime.
Let me tell you, lifeguarding, quite the interesting bunch. You would agree, right?
Yeah, we had quite a crew that we worked with, especially
That too.
my first year.
Yep.
And then all of those people left after my first. It was like we worked with them for.
Yeah.
I worked with them for 1 year, and then they were all gone the next year.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate. They definitely helped because
They were so funny.
And dealing with some of these patrons, like, oh my god.
Yeah, I got to imagine that. Like, I don't like public pools, like, for that reason.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
We work at
So
a
unappealing.
We work at a state park pool, so you can imagine it's cheap to get in, so it attracts quite an interesting crowd.
Yeah.
Oh,
Some of the much younger variety, including a 2-year-old Carson back in the day, who got a little bit sick.
Do you remember the homeless guy that lived at the park? They
What?
called
No,
him.
what happened?
Yeah. So I don't know his name, but they called him Two-Toe Tommy. I think.
Two-toe
Two-toe
Yeah,
Tommy.
Two-Toe Tommy, and he would like walk around with this shopping cart full of shit, and he had like a bunch of cell phones, and he ran a radio show on like the public access radio
Wow.
from the park, and allegedly, legend has it, this guy actually did only have 2 toes.
Like, total or, like, on one?
Total, I think.
Total.
But
So,
wondering, was
were
it
they
like-
both on one
Yeah.
foot? Was he missing a foot?
Exactly.
not
what
really
I'm thinking.
sure
That's the
how
mystery.
they divvied it up, but,
Embrace the mystery.
I was about to say, speaking of mysteries, not to cut you off, Jack, but I don't know if anyone saw the poster on our Instagram, but it's a masterpiece.
Oh, yes.
We're very
Yeah.
excited to.
See, if you heard me telling Nate to blurp that out, see, you know, we have full control of what we edit on these podcasts, but we also have full control of what we post on social media. And if you're not following our brand new Instagram at Eternal
Yes, follow right
Productions, yes, watch that on the screen. Get to your Instagram app right now and witness pure beauty, courtesy of Nate's Photoshop skills. Embrace the mystery. That is our official trilogy completion of Lost and Found, the one that we alluded to sneakily in the first podcast.
Yes, we're very excited for that. What a great way to introduce that.
I'd forgotten about that in the moment that we had actually posted that, but when I told Nate to blurt it out. But, you know, we're all good now. So
We're all good now.
yeah, the mystery of Tommy Two Toes, though. We should maybe put a poll on our account or something like, where do Tommy's 2 toes lie?
What toes are they?
Where'd they-
the big
where'd they
toes
go?
Or like, you know, what if they're like the 2 like pinky toes? Or
If you're really, if
I bet you that's
Hey.
what it is.
Or like
I bet you
what if
two
it's like
pinky toes.
1 foot like big toe pinky? Like who? Possibilities.
Who
around
knows
this.
how they could be divvied up? How many possible? You're a math guy.
I was gonna say, is there any
combinations
mathematicians
Quite-
out there that can help us?
Quite a lot.
yeah, let's just leave it at that.
All right, Jack. So, as a film student, I hear you got some films in the pipeline. What you got for
I
us?
do. So I have some ideas and stuff.
Yeah.
I've been really wanting to make a mob film, like a sort of mob interrogation.
With Antonio
scene.
Giuseppe, possibly.
Gotta bring back
Perhaps
God.
Antonio Giuseppe.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
It was funny. We were not to cut you off, Jack. We were rewatching Street Dude 3 last night, and we realized there were a couple characters we never actually name dropped. One of them we did in the credits, but the other, the guy wearing the red suit, one of my many characters, that was Carlo Giuseppe. That's Antonio Giuseppe's son. That's
We
my
forgot
father.
that. We
That will be a
that.
trivia question on Squad
Yes,
Trivia.
yes. So if you're
We
at,
love trivia.
if you're at the current timestamp in episode 2, then just know that you've given yourself a leg up. Back to you, Jack.
Yeah, so I've been wanting to do a mob sort of interrogation scene. I've been really into The Sopranos recently. I've been watching that show a lot.
Fantastic show.
There's some really great scenes, especially with the guy. Do you remember the story arc with the guy that was playing poker? And so Tony lends this guy 5 boxes of ziti.
Yeah.
That's how they say it in the show. And for like this mob poker game that they have set up. And he tried to get the guy to not play. He's like, you don't have money for this. He's like, just give me 5, and like
give me 5.
I'll be good. I'm good for it. I'm good
Yeah.
for it. And so Tony wakes up the next day, and he's like, Chris, how's our friend doing? He goes, he's down 45 boxes of ziti. Right. And so after that, it's like this whole thing of Tony badgering this guy for his money, and he's gotta like beat him up and threaten him and all this stuff. So a sort of kind of threatening mob scene, just like a couple minutes would be really cool.
That would be really cool.
Or something corny, or just like maybe not so much threatening, but just like gag humor, like Stewie and Brian, like, where's my money? Where's my money? Give me my money.
Well, at the end of the day, we have to do like one dumb like gangster or whatever mob guy.
Yeah, we always do.
Yeah, we've gone down that path a few times.
And then I had another idea for a film, like a dinner date between 2 people.
Ooh.
And that don't really know each other, maybe met on like Tinder or whatever, so they're on a date, and
Classic.
it's kind of awkward. And so, when they go to talk, they kind of talk over each other, and it's like, you go, whatever.
Sort of like us.
And then yes, exactly.
The irony, right?
And then when what do you do for a living? And as soon as the person's gonna answer, the waiter comes over and asks them if they're ready to order. So cuts them off there, and then it kind of keeps going, and so there's a build up, maybe a baby crying in the restaurant. Maybe a guy choking on something. So it
just keeps going.
It just keeps getting crazier and crazier, and prevents these two from actually talking to each other and getting to know each other.
Right.
But at the end of the film, since they've gone through all of these strange events in this restaurant, they kind of got to know each other along the way.
There we go.
So I don't know. I think that would be a fun idea.
I think so.
It could be
too.
a cool.
It definitely has potential.
I think it could be a cool arc.
Yeah, layered
So
distractions.
they didn't get to talk to each other, but they still got to know each other.
Yeah,
That'd be really cool.
I think it'd be funny.
Idea.
If we were to pull that off, just know that there would be a mandatory distraction of a particular type in our way of putting it together. Explosion.
Yes, explosion.
Yeah,
Just a random explosion.
should be like in the kitchen or something.
Jack, random question, pop question. What is your favorite random explosion that has happened through the years in our movies?
Man, there's so many good ones. I love the one in the new Street Dude movie, Street Dude 3, where Street Dude's going to cut the wire of the bomb.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's like, there's no time. We have no time. And
Yeah.
the timer's like 5 hours. I think that's so good, but I think the first original one, like the first one in the original Street Dude,
I
kind of
agree.
where it all started.
I
So
agree.
I
It's
gotta pick that
It's the sledgehammer.
It was So it was like, apparently I misedited the lips and the actual voice command that Jack says not today, and then he has the chain wrapped around the sledgehammer, tosses it to the side, and he tells me, "Yo, just edit an explosion right there." So I find this green screen chroma key effect on YouTube, download it, put it in Premiere Pro, X out the green, and then as soon as the sledgehammer hits the ground, boom, and then Thug goes.
That we use that same
Yes, we do.
like crappy anime. Oh, it's so good.
It
so
fits our
good.
comedy. This is a great segue because it fits our comedy so well.
Yeah.
I think our type of comedy is, I want to say unique, but also not unique because it's very like it takes from SpongeBob. It takes from like early 2010s movies like Superbad, Pineapple
Yeah.
Express. There's this new one that just came out. It's very similar to that. It's called Please Don't Destroy the Treasure of Foggy Mountain. It's on Peacock. It has the SNL actors, those 3 guys. It's so funny. I love them. And it makes me want to make a movie just like Superbad and just like Pineapple Express.
Oh, yeah.
It's called Beep. They didn't hear.
Ooh.
They didn't hear any of that.
Are you gonna censor that
I'm
part out?
gonna bleep that out. But pretty much the premise would be like us four guys, right? Pretty much just playing ourselves, just our basic comedy, just the way we do things. Pretty much us at our best, right? And the idea is that one of us, this guy, gets so high one night, and he's just walking downtown, whatever city we're in, and he finds just this amazing Chinese restaurant, right? And he's telling us about it. He's like, we gotta go. It's like, well, what was the name? Like, where was it? It's like, I don't know the name, but I know exactly where it was. Like, and he brings us down there, and there's just no restaurant in sight. But he swears by it, and we're like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? And pretty much the movie just devolves from there of us trying to find this restaurant where crazy things happen. Like, I can imagine the Chinese mafia somehow involved, the police probably, just absolute nonsense.
Officer Joe
So
Mascolo
yes.
has to make an appearance in like every movie of some sort. That's one thing I love about. I mean, this is sort of more of a personal thing, but the way we've also managed to develop a lot of stock characters that just kind of appear over and over again. At least they kind of take a new shape every time that they are in the actual picture. It sort of goes back to what I was saying earlier about that dramatic scene where you were watching the burning building, how like J.C. Fisher can go from a complete street dude stand to like an honest and objective reporter at times to just a member of the community. And Officer Joe Mascolo, whatever you want to call him at this point. I mean, we're trying to evolve his name for embrace the mystery related reasons, but we're just going to call him Joe Mama for simplicity purposes. He's taken his own evolutions through the years to, you know, a duplicated officer to a guy who's a downright goofball to a guy who just does his job and puts the destruction crew away once and for all.
Yep.
So we think, you know, so, you know, bringing those characters will almost allow us to bring elements of our comedy style that you mentioned into completely new and supernatural plot lines. Like,
they didn't hear that. It's okay. I would love if that was like our first real like feature film, like an hour and a half. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know how we pull it off. I always say, whenever to always get better, you always gotta level up, right? And we definitely have done that by far, right? But this film would require like even like way above what our current level is too. Like we need like film permits, right? Maybe like an actual dedicated cast and crew. Maybe even a budget, because we've been rocking on a zero budget.
I think I might need to seek out. Yeah, go ahead, Jack.
We might have to set up like a GoFundMe or something. Get a little budget going.
Like maybe even get some more editors, because you know we're good, but we got lots.
We're only two people, and we have lives. Let's just face it.
I would if I really get the chance to direct a feature film, like that would be the movie.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I would go so hard on the soundtrack for that. You mentioned Superbad. When I first watched that with my dad, I mean, he doesn't even know the movie's called Superbad right now because all he associates it with is that soundtrack. And I remember telling him about the soundtrack. He was like, "Oh, son, give me that album from that movie we watched last night." And I was like, "Oh, look at this bonus track." Funk McLovin. And that's what he calls the movie. Funk McLovin. Oh, son, you want to watch Funk McLovin? Yeah, let's watch Funk McLovin. The funniest movie of all time. This kid, he walks into a liquor store. It's the funniest thing.
Your dad would love our movie then. He does love our movies.
He does. He's also a great actor in them.
Yes, he is.
He doesn't hear that enough directly from me.
Circling back, you made a zombie movie with our friend Lou.
I did. Yes.
I would love to make a zombie movie. I'll show. This is his title right here. Check it out. It's pretty good. He's in.
Yeah.
Dead of Winter. So I think it's like 2.5 minutes long or something. I was actually talking about this earlier with my buddy. I think it was an 8-hour day.
For 2 minutes?
For like 2.5 minutes.
Wow.
I'm trying to think of why it took it so long. And it really should not have.
I mean, how long was the last fight scene that we filmed for Street Dude?
Well, that whole session was 5 hours.
Yeah.
So we filmed a lot, though.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's unrelated, but just like thinking of those long film sessions, what do you think is one thing you've learned from being in those environments?
Well, the long film sessions they can get pretty tough. I get so tired when I'm filming.
Oh,
I get
yeah.
into it. I'm always like moving around.
Yep.
So I guess one thing that I've learned is if you're getting like food for a set, do not get like pizza or like greasy food like that. Get like subs.
Yep.
Because that other stuff is only gonna make your crew more tired. I remember on Dead of Winter, we ate a bunch of pizza like halfway through.
That's why it took 8
and
hours,
I was like,
bro.
man, I want to go home. I don't want to do this anymore. But I don't know. Like the long film sessions, they never feel that long though. When you really get into
you're
it.
right. They never do.
That's
like
fair.
you do get tired and hungry, but it does fly by.
That's
for
true.
sure.
I think I can relate to that because I have a long track meet broadcast coming up this weekend. I'm going to be remote commentating for like 11 hours for 2 days.
Yeah.
And like that seems so long on the surface, but if you just have fun in the moment, then that time flies by.
If you're doing it, it's not bad at all.
Like
No.
we mentioned this number, 400 man hours that we put into Street Dude 3, The Final Judgment. Did it really feel like 400 man hours at the end of the day?
At some points it did. Those are long editing hours.
Yes. But what about the moments like when we were laughing and having our funnest
you're
time?
right.
That
Filming,
those felt like
I
blinks of
couldn't-
eyes.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like that last day too. I'm like, holy crap! It's been 5 hours. Like that did not feel like 5 hours. You know.
Right.
So I agree. It's
Mind blowing.
one last thing I want to bring up about your project is you made a music video, and as you know, I
Yes.
really want to make an original song.
I think
one
that's
day,
also
right?
on Luke's channel.
Okay.
Yeah.
So check that out.
So you got experience with that, so you got to help us
Luke
out.
Doran.
Man. Like, what should we do for a music video whenever we make our
Well,
song?
my music videos were not exactly of the highest quality, but they
Any
were a
advice
lot
would
of
be
fun to
appreciated.
make. And when you're if we do like any lip syncing stuff, I think you said this before, Carson. Like you have to actually sing. You can't just move your mouth.
Yeah, because when I used to make music videos, I still do sometimes, but there was one that I made. I'll give a shameless plug here to illustrate this concept. I made a little cover of the Silk Sonic album intro. I'm a huge Bruno Mars fan, and his co-album in collaboration with Anderson .Paak was a complete success in my opinion, and I just love that album. And the intro struck me in a particular way where I felt like I could do something unique with it versus just play some horn tracks over it because I'm a trumpet player. I like to make trumpet covers. I did a full one of Leave the Door Open. But for this one, I thought I would like get in cool, fun outfits and like do a lip sync along with it. And I didn't say the words along with it. So I had to really edit it and post a lot to the point where it might not have lined up exactly. Plus I shot in 4K, so that made editing a lot more tedious. But yeah, you get the point, right? If I had just said the stuff, it would have made it come across so much more natural in movements as minuscule as lip movement.
Yeah, because there's way more to it, than just lip.
I can imagine.
But you don't think about it like that unless you've kind of done it or seen it, I guess.
At the end of the day, you just have to remember that what you say is not going to be the same as what goes into your recorded audio.
Right.
It just needs to give that effect.
Exactly. Your singing doesn't have to be good.
No,
you don't like to sing in front of camera. I get it.
That's for
like
music
the
videos,
music videos I've worked on in the past. My brother was in, and he didn't want to be there in the first place anyway. And then I was like, "Man, can you just like sing while you're doing it?" And he was like, "No, man, I'm not doing that."
I think we mentioned how Alex... Yeah, we mentioned that too. It's funny because
He
like
was
Alex
supposed
was
to be.
initially supposed to be Space Dude. Singing dude. I don't know.
Singing dude.
All right, so I think to end this episode, that's what we got, a week, 2 weeks, week. How many weeks till the Super Bowl?
Less than 10 days.
Yes, so Super Bowl coming up soon. Let's talk about our prediction and picks.
That was a fake let's go, by the way, because when I found out that it would be the Eagles and the Chiefs, I was not excited at the slightest. So let me just preface that.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
As a Giants fan, a Commanders fan,
Redskins.
yes.
/ football team.
Football team.
Might as well
Forget many
root for all
identities.
three. I don't root against any of those teams.
I think you can root against the football team. I think
No.
that's valid.
Don't
I
you
do.
dare
I
disgrace
like
my
It's a
football
terrible-
team.
football team.
No,
I
that was
think
a-
No,
they should've
for
said-
me, it's original name, bridge name, new name. That's my tier list.
Interesting.
Well, we're not here to pick that. We're here to pick the
Yes.
Super Bowl. Brandon, go.
Well, I don't care how good this Eagles team is or Saquon. It's definitely going to be the Chiefs. I don't really have a hard time predicting this. Final score, I'll say 27-24. Chiefs, obviously.
Well, all right, hold on. Why do you believe the Chiefs so much? Do you think that they have some kind of higher
Two
power
reasons.
helping them?
Well, I do think they have dark magic. I don't think it's rigged, but I think they do legitimately. I feel like there's always something. But if I had to give an actual reason, I think it's the defense, because I don't think people talk like this Eagles defense is very good. I'm still digging like their defensive coach. I think should be Hall of Fame. Like I think he's him and Patrick Mahomes are the main drivers of this.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If Jalen Hurts gets at least 2 tush-push touchdowns, then the Eagles are guaranteed a victory. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to need to win this game on the ground with Saquon Barkley like they basically did out the gate against Washington. I mean, that was the real tone setter against my Commanders that made it all the way to the NFC Championship for the first time since 1990, I think 92 when we beat the Buffalo Bills back in the Super Bowl. So just thinking about that, I mean, I'm more than proud of how this season turned out, but we just could not stop them on the ground. Even when we injured Kenneth Gainwell, with not 100% Saquon Barkley or Jalen Hurts for the record, who both had their own minor injuries, that ground game was just too much for us to deal with. And that opened up the play action, getting the ball downfield to A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and that's going to be tough for a defense like the Chiefs to deal with. They dealt with it against Buffalo. They're, reverse kryptonite in the playoffs. But, I don't know, Saquon Barkley, he's a lot better than James Cook. I think we can agree on that, no matter how much we hate the Philadelphia Eagles as a collective. Jack, I know you're a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Yeah, hate 'em.
So, I think it's going to need to be won on offense by the Eagles if they're going to break through. Do I think it's going to be as high scoring as Super Bowl 55 when they last, was it 55 or 50? Whichever Super Bowl they last played at, 56. I don't think it's going to be as high scoring. But I do think that the Eagles are going to come out on top this time by a narrow margin. Pat Mahomes is going to play like Pat Mahomes. The Chiefs defense is going to keep him in check. 27-26 Eagles final. Please don't let me be right. Mahomes, go get that three-peat.
So you want Mahomes to win, but
I don't want him to win. I just don't want the Eagles to win. But I think
as a Giants fan, I have flipped. I think I'm okay with Saquon winning a ring. Because I'm just so tired. If the Chiefs win, I want it to be a good game. If the Chiefs win off of questionable calls, I'm going to be very upset.
I'd be okay with the Eagles winning so long as that shuts down this Mahomes versus Brady GOAT conversation.
All I'm going to say is Mahomes is already top 5. But
That's undeniable. But yeah, Nate, what's your pick?
Well, I like to put my money where my mouth is, and last Super Bowl I bet on the Kansas City Chiefs, mainly because of Taylor Swift. She holds the script.
Yeah, don't forget about that.
Yeah, that's just how it is. I mean, it's her world. We're living in it. She writes the script.
Who's gonna fill in the blank space?
And I might have doubled down this time because, like I said, I won last time. I want to get amount of money. Very happy about that. So I mean, yeah, time to double down.
Do you have a score prediction?
Nah, I got no idea. What you got, Jack?
Yeah, as a Cowboys fan, I just cannot root for the Eagles. I was actually pulling for them in that first Super Bowl that they were in some years ago.
Really?
They won, yeah, just because I knew some Eagles fans, and they were like...
Oh, that one against the Patriots.
We need it back.
Oh, I remember, back then. I have a picture of Brandon Graham, because I don't think he even was MVP.
Were they playing the Patriots?
No, Nick Foles, obviously.
Yeah.
Yes.
When Nick Foles won,
because I just hated Tom Brady that much. Because I always thought as a Giants fan that was our rival, which is still kind of true because of the Super Bowls, a.k.a. Eli Manning is Tom Brady's dad.
The Eagles were always a meme about having never won a Super Bowl. They were the only team in the East.
But I was so happy for them because I was just happy Tom Brady didn't win yet another one.
I was unhappy because I love Tom Brady. That's my kid. He was like one of the first quarterbacks I ever knew.
I always couldn't stand him.
I never understood why people hated him until now. I see why all the hate is going against Patrick Mahomes because of all the coincidental bailouts, right? Because Brady, from the Tuck rule to Deflategate, Spygate, in whichever order, with all the other whining to the refs. I mean, Brady has whined to the refs. It's, no matter how great he is. I mean, no matter how great any quarterback is.
I think all the greats do, yeah.
I was rewatching Super Bowl 43 last night, and I saw Kurt Warner do it multiple times.
Yeah, dude.
So, yeah.
Competitive edge.
Yeah. Anyways, Jack, what's your pick?
Yeah. So I can't root for the Eagles. Not this time. And to see Pat Mahomes get a three-peat, I mean... How often do we get
I do
go
agree.
into the Super Bowl 3 years in a row? Not very often. So
to
be able to see something like that, I can't not.
I mean, it's history. If they win, it's
history. Yeah,
I can't root against it. Yeah, it's history. So I'm gonna go with the Kansas City Chiefs. I think I'm picking the same score as you. 27-24. Is that what you picked?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna go Chiefs. 27-24. I do think the Eagles' defense is going to lock it up a little
I think we all are in agreement that the winning team is going to score 27 points.
That's a good trend.
Should we make a reference to that in a future movie?
Yeah, we should. If they do.
We were talking about like a potential sports movie, so we'll have to remember that. Although it can't be in baseball because scoring 27 in baseball.
No, we should do some like obscure.
It's gotta
we
be
should do like
obscure.
lacrosse or something.
Give us.
Bowling.
If you have any ideas,
Bowling movie.
any obscure
We're actually
sports,
going
let us
bowling
know.
tomorrow,
The
so
more
we could get
obscure,
some
the
ideas
better,
for
but-
that. Yeah.
Cricket.
Cricket?
Could be.
I don't see why not.
All right, well, this has gone on long enough. I'm sure they're all tired of us talking. Well, thank you all for watching, though. Of course, if you have any questions, please comment down below. We would love to interact with you guys about anything.
Put your Super Bowl scores down below too.
Yes, please do. Remember to like, subscribe, all that other nonsense they say. And Jack, thank you for coming. Of course,
man.
our first official guest.
Yeah, man, we got to have you on again like multiple times.
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely. Because you definitely are one of the founding fathers.
No denying that. Street Dude
What an
special
honor.
complete.
What an honor to be
Yes.
one of the founding fathers.
Absolutely. All right. Carson.
Yeah. Let's close it out, baby. Stay tuned for the next episode. Squadcast coming at ya. Stay tuned.
Later.